live from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jasmine Moyer. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Also available on Apple TV, Roku, and Twitch.
That's right, and we are hashtag Wealth Wednesday. We're going to talk about the wealth of sleep. We come together each day to know the truth, live on principle, have some inspiring stories, and have a lot of coffee.
Yes, the coffee helps, doesn't it?
And the sun is back out, I've got to say. I'm very happy about that.
Eternal sunshine is all I'm about. I love the sunshine.
It's an intense few weeks there.
I'm so excited to welcome to the show our very special guest today. Good morning, everyone, back in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning. We are speaking the language of miracles today. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Every day.
Every day. Today, though, with Lennox Scott. Thank you so much for being with us today, Lennox.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
Thanks, you guys.
We're so excited to learn more about you, the language of miracles. But first, I want to know, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine? Is there an affirmation you set?
Well, I get up in the morning, I head right down and feed our 5 dogs, get on the elliptical or do a power walk, and then as I get in my car, head to the office, I say my personal affirmations to get my day started right.
And would you mind sharing one of those affirmations with us?
Well, the affirmations are, I'm receiving all great blessings, I'm full of energy, I'm walking in joy, I'm walking in abundance, I'm a major contribution to others, and I'm walking in the positive outcome.
Ooh.
Nice.
I'm getting my day started right.
Am I allowed to steal one or two of those affirmations? Does that work like that? Okay, thank you.
There's only so many affirmations in this universe, so you got to steal one.
You may have to send them a residual check, though.
Well, I'll speak that language of miracles for sure. Well, welcome back to the show. Mike Young this morning. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming back. He is known, AKA, as the makeover master.
And Brandy, not in your lipstick, just so you know.
It's a fun job, for sure.
So, how do you start your day? Is there something you're doing differently this year in 2019 than you were doing last time?
You know, I think I'm more consistent, and one of the things that's really helped me a lot is I actually believe that starting your day starts in the evening before. So right before I go to bed, I journal a little bit. I usually pick something positive that I want to work on. And that way, while I'm sleeping, my subconscious is working on something positive. Instead of thinking about bills or things that aren't working or whatever, like most people do, I'm picking something the evening before, and that really kicks off my day usually. And then I do have a morning routine. I'm more consistent with it, so I meditate a little bit. I've got a mindset conditioning routine that I go through, and then it's kids and coffee and normal life. And makeovers, yeah.
Man,
makeovers all the time.
His nighttime hack is so much better than mine. Mine was simply sleeping in my workout clothes for the morning. It's like I could save a solid 5 minutes if I just sleep in my workout clothes.
Is that really what you do?
Yes, I do.
You do not.
Yes, I do. Not always, but occasionally.
Okay, well, men's workout wear is very similar to pajamas.
True.
For a lot of
It
people.
is. It's true.
So there you go.
Exactly.
There you go. Well, thank you guys so much for being with us. We're excited to talk to you more later in the show.
Thank
I
you.
think you're out of job because every single person's positive that comes on the show. So I think you're done. You don't have to work anymore.
It's
Positive
funny
coach.
because that's the intention that I had when I started my career, was to make myself obsolete.
There you go.
Happening. I love it.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You're not
Still
obsolete.
busy,
I
though.
still need you, Rob.
I appreciate that, Jesslyn, so much.
I need you today too, because
mutual.
I'm tired. I went to the Elton John concert at Staples Center last night,
Oh,
and
wow.
he puts on, it was the most amazing concert, so beautiful. But I got to tell you that what happens for me is if I don't go to sleep by like 11 o'clock, the second system kicks in, and I'm a little tired. But let me tell you, the best part of the entire show, of course, there's so many incredible, iconic songs. But he talked about when he basically became sober and how he said 3 words, I need help, and the magic of those, talk about miracles, and the miracle of asking for help and being sober and having just an incredible life out of that. So
It's incredible.
Yeah, and he started one of the AIDS foundations as well, so huge influence, right?
Incredible man, incredible musician, and I love his transparency, right? His vulnerability.
Right.
It's incredible.
11,000 people showing up, right?
That is incredible.
He is a legend. He really is.
How about you guys? How was your night?
I didn't go to an Elton John concert. Jeez. I don't follow that. Jazz, you've got something, I know it.
You probably read a book. What are you reading right now?
What am I reading right now? Oh my gosh, so many books. I am rereading books by Joe Goldsmith.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's just phenomenal. I'm reading Be As You Are by Ramana Maharshi. I think that's one of the most phenomenal books. He actually wrote a book that's 5 pages long called Who Am I? Which,
That's my next book, 5 pages.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible.
That's all you need to say.
He captures everything in his 5 pages. and I'm rereading a devotional that Yogananda wrote.
How many books do you read at any given time?
For a long time, I was trying to read a book a day, and I was doing it for many years. Yeah, and then, you have to work and pay the bills. So it kind of got in the way of my reading a book a day.
Now he just writes them.
Yeah, now I'm just focused on writing them.
Do you read multiple books at a time?
I do. I often do, because I have found that if I read one while I'm reading a different one, it gives me a different perspective on the original one I'm reading. So it's interesting that way. I wouldn't recommend that, especially if a topic is new to you. But once you're really deep in it and understand well a topic, you can read multiple books, and all of a sudden it lights up in a way that it didn't before.
Right. I mean, Joel, literally, it's like, it's a prayer. You read it and you're like, why do I feel like I'm in heaven now? Literally,
totally.
it's just like truth coming off the pages. You're like, don't even have to do my prayer, don't need to do meditation, done.
Totally. It's the way you feel when you're like in the presence of an Eckhart Tolle, or even Abraham Hicks. Like, I remember going to an Abraham Hicks workshop, and I got called to the hot seat. And I remember having so many questions, and then I got in the hot seat, and I was just looking at Esther Hicks, and all of a sudden, no questions, perfect peace. And I was like, what just happened?
You really?
Awesome.
Literally.
I love that.
Yeah, I was just sitting there and she was like, do you have a question? I'm like, I did before I got in the hot seat. I'm not nervous, I'm just at peace.
Everything's good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
How
was your night, Jess?
I had the same reaction one time when I met Meryl Streep. I thought I'd have so many questions and all these amazing things to say, and I was going to wow her with my presence, and I just stared at her blankly. And she's like, she was giving me direction. I was running a scene with her, and she's like, did you hear what I said? And I just kept staring at her, and I was like, I'm sorry, you're just so beautiful. I totally just freaked out. She's like, thank you. I'm like, no, but you're so beautiful. She was glowing, but anyway, I digress.
She's an icon.
She is an icon.
Completely.
I mean, she's kind of like Elton John status in
Totally. Oh my gosh.
Completely, 100%. So, so hashtag Wealth Wednesday. I'm driving. I'm going, okay, what are we going to talk about? Because we really just come impromptu a lot of stuff here, and I was like, wealth. What is wealth? I was like, sleep is wealth for me today. So thinking about how our health, like if we don't feel well, it's hard to be productive. It's hard to do whatever. And so just thinking about, NIH talks about how we go through basically 5 or 6 cycles in the night for REM. And basically as it goes on, you get longer and longer REM sleep. So it's really important. The average adult needs 7 to 8 hours. Me, definitely 7 to 8 hours. And it's like, I don't know about you guys, but if I don't get that sleep, it's a world of difference for my day.
And it's a domino effect for the rest of the week, right? That's why sometimes I find on Saturday I sleep the entire day. I want to sleep the entire day. It doesn't always happen.
For me, and I would assume many of you watching, I will cut back on my sleep so I don't miss out on things. I have a serious case of FOMO. I say yes, I oversay yes, because I want to be a part of everything. And I think, oh, well, I know sleep's good for me, but I'll be fine. I've got this. And it was really interesting because I read an article on healthline.com about 10 things that happen if you don't get enough sleep. And I thought, oh, I can hang, I'm just fine. And then I was like, oh, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. And one of them being like your skin suffers, right? You age way quicker. You start showing your fine lines, your wrinkles. There's a reason why you have to wear the collagen eye masks in the morning. You're puffy. So
Objection. I have an objection. I don't see this happening with you, Jess, at all. You feel even younger than when I met you.
No, it totally happens. It affects your heart, it affects your mood, it affects your libido. If you're just not feeling yourself, it's because you can't wholly be yourself without getting enough rest and sleep.
This also affects your appetite, which I think that too. Like when you're tired, you're like, oh, I'll just eat some more, maybe a lot.
That is true, actually.
But I mean, I'm not a medical doctor, but my father's a naturopath, and he's educated me on if you go too long in your sleep, then you'll go into your adrenal system. It kicks in, and that's what happened to me last night. It was fine. I got home, I was going to go to bed at midnight, but then the system kicked in, and then it was like I had a hard time sleeping because you have adrenaline that's kind of going through your body.
That's kind of the second wind?
Yeah, it's like and it makes it hard to kind of get into a REM sleep.
Wow, incredible. We never had that problem as kids. I remember as a kid being able to fall asleep at any point in time for any reason. Yeah. Like literally we'd get in the car, boom,
because your adrenals were young and
fresh still,
vivacious.
It's like in college, no one got a hangover. It was like we could rage on. And now you're like 30, so you're like, I need 8 hours of sleep. I feel hungover. Like, it's all adding up, and I'm not happy about it.
But anyway, knowing that wealth begins with health for sure. So let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk to our amazing guests of how they are creating wealth in their life. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
thank you for tuning in to the Model Mom Show. I'm your host, Tara Tenner, and Shelton, we are signing off. Thanks, bye.
Beautiful.
I'm so glad to have you. Thank you.
I feel so lucky. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. Cheers. Here's to a good Friday night. Thanks, Michelle, and I will see you again next time.
And thank you, everyone, for joining in. This has been another episode of Mind, Body, Spirit, and I'm Dr. Kate.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys live your best life. Peace out. Peace out.
And thank you for watching the LA Home Show, where we discuss all things real estate, interior design, and much, much more.
We'll see you next time. You're watching Passion to Paycheck on the Focus TV network.
Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.
So I'm your host, Serena Poon, and thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
And if you want to binge watch these videos, they will be on Focus TV network. Check that out. We will see you soon. Thank you so much for being here. Bye, everyone.
Bye. I greatly appreciate your service.
It was an honor to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this episode of Purpose. I am your host, Brittany Zonker, and I will see you next time. It's been such a treat to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you.
Erin Ziering, Millennial Moms, the best blogger parent out there.
Thank you.
Aww. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys, for watching. You're watching the Ren Wood Show on Focus TV Network. We'll see you next time.
Until next time, guys, on Focus TV Network, sipping that tea where we sip
Yes,
that tea,
and our guest spiller. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Well, thanhanks again, and we'll see you guys next time on Moms Matter.
Thank you for listening, and DM us, follow us on social media.
Charo, baby! Coochie, 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 coo.
I appreciate your time today. Casey Montoya, you are a woman warrior.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you for letting me talk about this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's so sweet.
Thank you to the Focus TV studios for another great episode, and I'll see you guys next time.
We are Good Morning LaLaLand, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And you can listen to all your favorite interviews available as a podcast on iTunes.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and check out this amazing, amazing new book.
It's going to be a Good Morning LaLaLand.
Well, thank you so much for watching and for listening to Celeb CEOs with Rachel McCord. This is Erin Kerman, and we've got Jax, and tell me her name one more
Lucy.
time. Lucy in the studio making lots of fun noises. Mwah, we love you. Tune in next time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, sir.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand on hashtag Wealth Wednesday. We are speaking the language of miracles with author Lennox Scott. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
So let's start from the beginning. How did you learn to speak the language of miracles?
Well, I met my wife 10 years ago. And I was during the Great Recession, and I asked her, I said, how are you doing so well in business? And she at that moment said, the situation is not who I am. I'm not walking in the recession. I'm more powerful than that situation.
Amen.
And I said, well, can I borrow some of your concepts to use in our business? And she gracefully said yes. Because it was a whole different level of state of being in the way she talked about walking in the outcome, the positive outcome, than walking in the solution.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the situation.
So you run a multi-billion-dollar real estate company. How are these distinctions helping in leadership within that?
Well, our company, John O. Scott Real Estate, we're up in the Northwest, in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and just over the border into California. Mm-hmm. So we sell 33,000 homes a year.
Wow.
And our approach is, we have a success plan. It's actually on the wall in each one of our offices. And it's positive mindset, skill mastery, and personal engagement activities. But it all starts with positive mindset, because that's what it flows through everything we do. And when speaking the language of miracles came along, it changed how we looked at situations, and it elevated our energy. An example is taking a look at a situation. If you just look at a situation, you might have a 30% energy level. If you do some activities, you think about it, you might get up to 60%, but then it wanes really quickly if you don't keep it alive. But if you walk in the positive outcome of who you are, and we have a statement, what I choose to do and be is me, and what I choose is this. And that's walking in the positive outcome. And in the book, there's affirmations in the book. It goes through scenarios, not only in business, but particularly in health, in serious health situations, in just day-to-day health, relationships, family, sports, just personal finance, all those areas. And it talks about these concepts. And in the book, these concepts will change your life in an instant, in both business and in life.
But I'd like to challenge you on this just for a moment, because you can make that choice, but it's not you make that choice once. Right. It's a constant choice, and that is one of the hardest decisions a person can make, especially because even if they're choosing to walk a path of faith, choosing to walk a path of light and positivity, they are still going to experience hardships that are going to challenge them. Yes. What keeps you making the right choice?
Well, making the right, first of all, it's getting to the right choice. And when a situation comes up, nowadays, because we've been using this concept so long, I look at every situation just as an energy source. We turn situations into opportunities at the second, at the moment. And then you come up with what are the activities to accomplish your positive outcome. And then you need to sense and track how you're doing. And that's what you're talking about, keeping the conversation alive. In our company, we call it the frequency of focus of the vital few items is what moves you forward much faster than your competitors. So we have strategy group meetings every month, 3 strategy group meetings on our vital few, which is our client service, helping each broker associate be more successful, and looking at future trends and current market conditions, competitors, new technology, whatever it might be, looking forward in how we're doing. So we look at it every month. And so that sensing and tracking is important. Otherwise, it disappears and you go back to ordinary, whatever you're looking at.
So one of the biggest things is positivity is obviously a huge movement. And one of the things people always ask is, well, how do I deal with negative people? So as really the chairman of this big organization, you're obviously walking the talk, but what do you do? Like when there's kind of a bad seed in the company and they're complaining, gossiping, how do you deal with that?
Well, we have how we look at it is no viruses in the company. And negative energy is a virus. And it can bring your company back, it will hold you back. And it's just not a fun work environment. And we believe in joy at work, because we're doing great things to help people purchase a home. And we're not going to allow the negative energy. So we would obviously have a conversation right away. And we have a collaborative environment, so we need to be in positive energy with others, just as you have here. Your energy is just infectious. And that just excels you forward in what you're doing.
Got it.
Just fantastic. One of my favorite authors of all time is Neville Goddard. And he used to talk about assuming the state of the wish fulfilled, which essentially is walking in the outcome and not walking in the situation. And he would talk a lot about using imagination to do that.
Yes.
And being consistent with the imagination in order to make the behavior in that state of being consistent.
Yes.
What do you do personally to make that state of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled or walking in the outcome consistent and sticky so that the situations don't derail you?
Well, earlier show I was talking about my affirmations.
Yeah.
And affirmations, you always put them in I am or we are. You don't put them in something or I will do something. It's not being a wannabe or a will-a-be. It's about who you are because you say so. And just by putting them in that framework, you take yourself, you elevate yourself up. Then you figure out, once you get to that positive outcome, you can look at the solutions then. What are the solutions? What are the activities to achieve that? And then sense and track. So it's
such
how
a
you
great
framework.
point. Yeah, because it's so true. When you say that you want something, it's a statement of what you're not.
Right.
And that's the deeper realization at that moment.
Yeah.
So to say that you are is a recognition of what inherently, innately you already are.
Your energy level isn't high enough and sustainable at I want. And rather that this is who I am.
But it hasn't always been easy. You had your son went through something, and this has kind of spurred you going into some nonprofit work, right?
Yes. So my stepson.
Sorry.
And 2 years before I met my wife, she helped my stepson beat cancer. He had leukemia, and he survived. Thanks to the doctors, the nurses. My wife was just relentless on walking in the outcome. She did not let the negativity of what could happen wrong get in the way of being successful and him walking out of the hospital. And just thank you to the Lord for the blessing of his health in moving forward. And so the book starts out with that. Talks about that story about you know, the languaging, because language matters in this.
Everything.
And she enrolled her son into this whole concept. His affirmations were, I'm a healthy child of God. I have healthy blood cells in my body. You know, there was no opportunity for it not being successful. And thank you, Lord, for that. And then the rest of the book gets into, you know, business, and I've been using it for 10 years in our business, and it's just changed who we are. Just you know, just our state of being is so much higher now because everything we just instantly flip into where are we going, what are we going to do. And I'm not going to dwell on the other. Let the other companies dwell in the situation. You know, and that's what happens in business. So this is how to excel oneself in business and in life.
And so there's been some talk also about kind of the downturn of real estate. We're coming upon that 10-year. What do you think? What are you predicting for what's going to happen?
Well, how we use these principles. So the frenzy market, it was hard to find new properties to sell. And so the positive affirmation out of that is, I come to work each day to find homeowners who want to sell their home. And then what are the activities to accomplish that? So now we've gone through an intensity adjustment from extreme frenzy back down to strong market. And so now it's, I help home buyers buy right at the right price. And then what are my activities to inform them, you know, do a buyer CMA on the home they're buying, so they competitive market analysis on the price, so they really know that they're paying the right price for the market, looking at future trends, because real estate is very predictable. It follows a yearly seasonal pattern, and so we're able to track that. We know where we are at what time during the year.
So where are we?
Right now we're in the kickoff market. Each segment, there's 6 segments to the market. We're right in the kickoff. Buyers come out of the woodwork after the holidays in big numbers. We just had the winter cleanup of inventory. Inventory drops by 40 to 60% from September of unsold homes down to the end of December. Buyers come out of the woodwork. There's not that many homes coming on the market until March, April, and then it really kicks up in the summer.
So you're saying people should buy at holiday season?
Well, in the summer and fall during a frenzy market,
because you don't have as much competition in the middle of winter, right?
Yes, but it is a trick question also. The best time to buy is when it's right for you. And it's usually when you find the right home. But in a frenzy market, you're competing against others, especially in the spring, and it lessens in the summer and fall. Now, in a regular market, you have opportunity all throughout the year because the biggest price appreciation boost happens the first 4 months of the year, and then it mellows out. So it just depends on when the timing's right for you in purchasing. Because over a decade, prices will go up 30 to 40% over each decade.
As someone who's never bought a home and hopes to, someday I will, what can I do to prepare myself to be able to be in the market, to play the game?
Right. Well, we have a phrase called being buyer ready day one. So if I were buying a home, I would get fully underwritten ahead of time before I even put in a purchase certificate. Then I know exactly what I can afford based on wherever interest rates are at that moment. If I get in a multiple offer, I can go up to a certain level. I know where I can go up to and be confident that my purchase is going to go through. The other thing that does is for the seller, it creates certainty. that the seller knows I'm not just pre-approved, I'm fully underwritten ahead of time. And then, of course, I'm going to get email notification when new listings come on the market in that geographic price range, and because I'm going to be ready to act at the second. You know, we're in the internet world, and with instant notification, in our company, we actually text people when there's a new listing that hits their parameters. Because it's you want to be up-tempo, you want to be ready, you want to be confident, so when you do see that home, you're ready to act out at that moment.
Interesting.
Can you speak any language of miracles to get me ready for that? Affirm me now, please, Lennox.
Yeah. But it's important. The environment, I think, is everything. And quite frankly, you know, real estate agents have, you know, stigmas. And so I think it's incredible what you're doing to help kind of transition that into making a difference and positivity in the environment.
Yes.
We know environments are everything for keeping people around.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we do is transactional excellence within our business. But our higher purpose as a company, we have a federal trademark on this phrase, is living life as a contribution. Because we were looking at who are we? You know, we know what we do for our clients and helping them to buy and sell a home and keeping a relationship as a homeowner, but who are we deep down? And our business has been around for 88 years now. Wow. So we have deep meaning and living life as a contribution. We do that with our clients. We have our foundation, the John L. Scott Foundation, to help sponsor events for children's health care. And the book, proceeds from the book, net proceeds, 20% goes to the foundation that we then use to sponsor events to raise money for children's hospitals. Right. We're a contribution to our teammates, and then we take it home with family and friends, community, and place of faith. And that is on every wall in every office. It's on the big on paint in our service center. As we walk in, that's what we look at, is living life as a contribution. One of the great joys of living life.
Mm-hmm. So when you're happiest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you bet, isn't it? When you help others.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you be your best, and being a contribution is about being your best, and it's not just coming up with solutions. This is about just being in relationship with others and moving forward with each other.
Totally. Do you have a dream house, or are you in your dream house?
I have a dream house, and we also have a Malibu house. So we have a house up in Seattle and one down here in Malibu.
Oh, nice.
I have a dream house, and I also have a Malibu house. I feel like that is the perfect Instagram bio.
It is.
You know what? That is going to be my affirmation to become buyer ready. I have a dream house, and I also have a Malibu house. Thank you. You are speaking miracles over my life right now.
I just want to acknowledge my wife, Deanna Scott, and her son for writing this book and sharing these concepts. She shared them with me. She shared them with our company. Everybody in our company reads the book. We're now, Sinclair Printing is printing the book, and we're selling 10,000 a month now of the book. And so we're really getting this across, and that's my wife's way of sharing and being thankful to Children's Hospital for helping save her son, and we're putting that message out.
Wow, 10,000 books is a lot. Most books only sell about 5,000 copies total.
Right.
Less. So that's 10,000 a month is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So where can people find the book? Where can they find more information about you and your work and the business?
Well, for the book, Amazon.com, of course, and then it's getting wider distribution. We just did a new edit on the book in November, so it's just now getting more major distribution from that point forward. And then for ourselves, if you're looking for a home in the Northwest, go to johnlscott.com because you can see all homes for sale, all listings, all companies in the 3-state area.
Awesome.
Love it.
You make me feel better about the editing, because I'm an endless editor.
Oh
to hear that you're doing the same thing is great. It's very affirming there.
I think it's really great. I have a book from somebody who actually is had the success. People look to people like you. They want to know how you did it. So thank you so much for putting it out there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow on Good Morning La La Land.
Hi, this is Roxy with Ceremony. Wait, this is Ceremony by Roxy, sorry. Hi, this is Roxy, and this is Ceremony by Roxy. Hi, this is Roxy, and this is Ceremony by Hi, this is Ceremony by Roxy. I am your host, and this is a show about mindfulness, healing, and living a life with purpose. I keep going, right? Looking forward to watching the rest of your journey and having your beautiful wife on next. I should recut that one. Hold on.
Yeah. Look, you just made your first TV show.
I can't wait to see the bloopers.
Oh, there's plenty of that.
The change is starting happening. It's nope, bad take. Nope, nope. Oh, sorry, I messed up. I was talking to the guest. It's a little fast. I bet you don't have one of those in your phone.
Right.
Nope. Andy's like, damn it, I'm doing things over here. Usually I'm a one-hit wonder with my videos, but right now, how many takes are we on, Andy? Woo! Okay. I think it's maybe take 12. Nope. Messed up one word at the end. It's gonna drive me insane. Listen, I've never done so many takes in my life on one video. That was a good one. Good? You like that one? Are we gonna do a blooper reel? Andy's like, you're already on all of them.
Welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand on Wealth Wednesday. It's very important to have your branding right for anything business-wise. So Mike Young is the makeover master. Personally, I've worked with him. Extraordinary human being. Welcome to Good Morning LaLaLand.
Thank you for having me on.
It's good to see you too.
I know.
You flew in. Tell everyone where you're from.
I live in Corvallis, Oregon, and flew in a couple days ago. I had a couple clients on the show.
Yeah.
And so that was cool to see them and see them tell their story. And then I had a podcast get canceled yesterday, so
Fun stuff. Got to roll with
got to
it.
hang out and hang out with my friend Lance Ecios, and so that was a really cool
Awesome.
day. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about branding. So important because, I mean, what is branding, right? I mean, it's everything from your website to your, IG post to every word that comes out of your mouth. You represent your brand. So how do you do a makeover for someone's brand?
Yeah, we do business image makeovers, and so a lot of times people get confused about what that even means. And it's really representing yourself online as you are offline. So our clients are amazing. They have amazing skills and talents, and they've built up this massive history of action really in the field and results. But sometimes they don't display that online, and they look amateur or confusing or ugly or even non-existent.
But sometimes I think it's so hard to really kind of hone in on what your brand is, especially if they are an author, a podcaster, a speaker, and a model and a fashion designer. I mean, let's be honest, a lot of the people who are entrepreneurs have a lot of very interesting facets of their business that they're creating.
Yeah.
Dr. Erin, for example. So how do you say, okay, this is the direction we're going when there's so many lanes?
Yeah, there's a strategy and a formula to all of it, but it's really just finding out who that person is. We work with a lot of personal brands. That's what our mission is to transform the business image of personal brands so that they can go transform the world in their little niche.
So what's step 101 with that?
Step 101 is just getting clarity on everything that you're trying to accomplish with your mission, and then making sure that that shows up with the first impression, because that's where so many people are. It's Wealth Wednesday, right? So many people are losing an extraordinary amount of money with their business because that first impression doesn't match who they truly are.
Well, and they're just not getting the engagement. I mean, the point is this: if I'm going, I actually want to bring truth and wisdom to people's life, and they come to my website and they're just confused because they're like, well, that's cool, she's got this, that, whatever, but it doesn't actually take them in and hold their hand and take them in. I think that that's your genius, is to really simplify it enough to where people can take action.
Yeah, if you look through just the normal engagement of human beings, we all go through a process where we have a first impression. We have to get to know you. You have to build the relationship. And if you don't look the part, people do still judge you based on how things look first. And if you don't tell them where to start and simplify the message on the front end, they typically don't start. And so that's where people are costing themselves money. So you have to take podcasts, TV show, interviews, all this information, social media, all that stuff, and you still have to tell them, where do I start the process with this person?
Man, thought I could just find a picture with like Beyonce, Jay-Z, just posting, I'd be good. But apparently that's not it.
I mean, that's part of it.
So much more work than that.
Yeah.
So Go ahead, Rob.
Just a quick question. So if somebody is a multi-passionate entrepreneur, for instance, right, and they have all these different hats they wear, would you encourage them to put it on one place, get to the essence of it, and sort of share and communicate that, or to have separate sites, separate accounts, separate profiles?
Yeah, I love building personal brands because the person doesn't change, right? You can have different products come into your life, different services that you want to offer the world, but it's still Rob at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So if you can be authentic online and be a little bit vulnerable, you guys talked about Elton John being vulnerable, share your story, share your struggles, but share it from a place of the past. You know, people won't work with you if you are broke or broken.
Yeah.
And so you build your site around the authentic you, and then you can share, well, I also have a TV show, I also have a podcast. You can link out to other places, but it's more like the hub.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Love that.
I find it very interesting how you have made over your own life. You weren't a makeover master from day one.
No.
So tell us about your personal journey.
Yeah, it was a process, painful process, really. I created over 50 brands between 2008 to 2015, and I call it my self-discovery phase. I was really seeking, like, how do I get the entrepreneurial dream? Work when I want, where I want, with who I want, you know, and all those things we wanted. No emails, limited meetings, you know, and massive amounts of money, you know, all those things. But that process led me to a place where I got extremely frustrated. I was trying to do too many things at once. I had created a message for myself. My own business image was confusing because I was trying so many things. And so I found myself, this is late 2017, I was in my office. I was following a copywriter, one of the best copywriters in the world, in my opinion, Mitch Miller. And I saw a live video and he said, I don't understand why people, when they're stuck, don't ask for help more. And a week later on a post, I said, you know, I think I need some help. I have all the skills. I took all the courses. I spent over $200,000 investing in my own self-education and marketing, advertising, branding, all that stuff, and it still wasn't working. And so I reached out to him. He said, he private messaged me and said, if you come here to my event, I'll help you. I'll put you on a hot seat, I'll help you. We'll figure out why it's not connecting. And I was really like at that place of like thinking about quitting, to be honest. And the problem was, it was 7,900 miles away from Phuket, Thailand, and it was 15 days away. And I was just like, this is freaking crazy, you know? Like, how is this gonna work? I came home, I talked to my wife. I said, I feel like I need to go do this. And she's an amazing lady. She's excuse me, she's super supportive. And she just said, like, she took about 30 seconds to process it. And she just goes, I think you gotta go. And I bought a ticket 5 minutes later on Expedia. 15 days later, I end up in Thailand at the Opposed Media compound. And I sat down and him and his team helped me figure out all the missing pieces of why my stuff wasn't doing what it is doing now. And it was really, I was displaying way too much stuff. I was confusing the heck out of my audience. And so I had to go through my own makeover process. And now I've written a book. I've documented the journey. There's a system, there's a method to it. But it all started with my mindset, to be honest.
So it's really been interesting working with you because you have like a process, which I really admire, of like walking people through, because I think that one of the things working with clients is they want to do it all. Even if they're simplifying, they want to do it all, even if they're makeover, right? And there is a process to it because it's like writing a book. Your brand is really like writing a book. You've got to distill down your message. You've got to distill down what it is going to be your message in your posts and your Instagram stories and da-da-da. It's like, it is, branding is everything. And you talked to me about dissonance, and I think that is one of the biggest things, and people talk about authentic or dissonance. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, the brain can't have two competing thoughts at the same time. So when I hear, even if I was referred and said, hey, Dr. Erin is the most amazing person, she's awesome, whatever, and I go to your website and I see confusing or ugly or amateur or one of those things, I can't justify the two. And so I don't start. It's like that old saying of confused prospects never buy, and confused prospects never start either. Because if they can't figure out why my friend says you're so awesome, but it doesn't look the part online, or they don't know where to start the process if you don't simplify it. Like even Pop-Tarts has on the side of a Pop-Tarts box. It's like, here's 3 steps to heat up a Pop-Tart. And it's like, you wouldn't think you'd need that, but we do.
Need that.
We crave it. You know, cognitive fluency with the brain just says that we crave information in the simplest, easiest way. We want to be told what to do.
Totally.
We want to be told where to start.
So true.
So being that we're doing something very traditional, have a talk show in a non-traditional format, we're streaming, we're across all digital platforms, we're trying to make a name for ourselves. Over 900 guests, 300 episodes, 43 million impressions.
Yep.
No wonder I'm tired today.
Just thinking about it.
You know us because you've been here, you've seen it. But what can we do to really translate that to the audience who might not have seen it, who just doesn't get it?
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting point, because you have all these views, but there is still somebody seeing you for the first time. And so the first impression is everything, because they're not going to start the process if they're confused. And so consistency is the key. You guys have an amazing track record now of just being consistent. You show up, you do the show, you promote it, and that builds trust with your audience. They know where to find you, when it's going to be on, and all those things. But if they don't know where to start, if the site overwhelms them from the start, and they don't know where to subscribe or engage, or they don't buy into your authentic story, if you don't share, you guys all have amazing stories. I've heard bits and pieces of all of them. But if you don't share that, people can't connect with you on an emotional level. And so I call it you're creating your authentic movie role. And you know, actors, like, you know, you've heard these stories, like Leonardo DiCaprio goes into like a movie role, but he goes all in, you know. He's a vegetarian, but he's eating meat in the movie, you know, those types of things. You go all in on yourself. That's really it. You go all in on yourself, and you figure out, what's my core driving purpose? What's my business purpose? What's my mission? What do I stand for? And more importantly, what do I stand against? And as you start to share that consistently with your audience, it builds trust, and other people that want to be where you're at, that have seen what you've made it through, they want to know that process. They want to know the journey. And then if you can say, I've got a process to help you go from here to here, because I've done it myself, people want to work with you.
So let me fix that right now. Okay, we've got about 18 minutes left. I was born December 20th, 1996, and on that day,
but it's almost like you're doing spiritual, like, core work, right? I mean, like, coming from, you know, we talked, of course, we do that work, and then we have so many great coaches and therapists, and it's like it all comes down to those things, getting clear of what your core values are, and It's like, I don't see where even like the marketing versus the branding versus psychology, it's all like one thing to me. I don't even see a difference in any of it now.
It's super interesting, because you're right. It's like people come in and they say, I need a new website, or I need a new logo, or whatever, but it's never about that. It's usually figuring out what that system is, and it's like, it always starts with mindset, and then you have to prove your business model in the marketplace. You have to create a strategy for how you're going to communicate it. Then you have to get your image on point, manufacture your influence, and then build an engine to run it consistently. And so, like, you guys all do things that allow your body and your mind to operate consistently on a consistent basis. And if you go out and do the other things and you can't build that consistency, people don't trust you. We see it all the time. You know, people are like, this week I'm selling this, next week I'm selling that. You know, and
it's only because I'm trying so hard.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I tried hard for years, and you try hard going broke and being frustrated and all those things. It's narrowing the focus, getting very, very clear for the first time for a lot of people, and then being wildly consistent after that.
Which goes exactly against what everybody says. You throw a whole bunch of things on the wall and you see what sticks.
I think that's like the normal human condition is you almost have to go through that phase. You almost have to go complex to get simple.
It's very true. So important. It's such, branding is everything, and consistency is everything. So walk us through, you've got a book coming out.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think you're genius about is you do talk about a lot of the philosophy of branding, which I think is important for people to understand, so that when they step back from it like that, they can kind of understand a lot more. So talk about your book that's coming out.
So the book's called Made Over, because that's really what I was the first makeover client. I had to make over myself before I could ever help others. I got very selfish to become extremely unselfish. And so I had to focus on my mindset. I had to prove my business model in the marketplace. As I wrote the book's fascinating it's a daunting process to try and take 10, 15, 20 years worth of stuff that's in your head and get it into something that people can read.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
It's just
Reach
like,
that.
Sounds like it's all the same. We had to go in first and do our work. I was the first makeover, then you become like that. I'm telling you, it's all the same work. So go on, sorry.
No, I mean, it's amazing. It's just like this process of I had to make myself over, and then all I want to do now is share it with the world. I just want to help other people that have these. Our clients are so amazing. They have these amazing talents and skills. They just don't look the part. And so we come in and we just take who they actually are and we clarify that brand strategy, that message, and then we just display who they actually are, and their business takes off. They can't figure out why. Like, why is it all of a sudden successful? And it's because it's almost like they've been hiding in a closet in a way. They're amazing, but they're not showing anybody how amazing they are.
They're just waiting to be discovered.
Waiting to be discovered.
So, what do you wish you would have known now that you've been made over? What do you wish you would have known 20 years ago?
That's a good question. I wish I would have asked for help sooner, because the thing that happened for me is I got to be a man. I got to figure it out on my own. I'm not going to ask for a map. I'm going to drive around endlessly just finding my location, right? And there are people that have struggled and been where you're at that are more than willing to help. And I have these amazing mentors and coaches that came in and said, let us help you, and all I had to do was ask. It's like the teacher appears when the student is ready type of thing.
So true.
And so I wish I would have asked for help sooner, and that's the one thing I would say is there are people that have been through that. The entrepreneurial road can be very dark and very lonely at times. And there are people that have been through it and come out the other side that are willing to help you if you ask.
So true. It's like Elton John last night at the concert. He said, there was 3 magical words, I need help. And I think that we all need help. We're always growing. We're always the student and the teacher forever. Forever.
Who would you say, whether it's a company or individual, has got this branding thing down pat? Maybe somebody that's either been a client of yours or someone that's not been, but who could people look to as an excellent example?
Great question.
Who's crushing the branding?
The Kardashians.
Yeah, and explain why, could you?
Well, they have about 1 billion followers.
Yes, but the followers aren't always indicative.
I would say it comes down to authenticity. It's with branding, I think about the Kardashians kill it, obviously. I'm trying to think of a more real world example.
That is so real world, though, because there's not a single person watching who hasn't heard of, seen of, or feel like they personally know a Kardashian because they follow them on Instagram, they've seen their reality show, they've downloaded their app, they've bought their lip gloss. I mean, through and through, each and every single one of those Kardashians has nailed it.
Yeah, and like Lindsay Lohan is kind of trying to rebrand herself and stuff, and it's like, but I think it comes down to the consistency. I think the best compliment you can get as a brand is when somebody sees you for the very first time in real life, that they're like, you're exactly who I thought you would be. Because you're displaying your authentic self online. And so that's a strong brand to me.
I have a question to ask you, because more than once people have looked at me and said, wow, you're way cooler than I thought you would be. I was wildly offended. At first I thought, well, take it as a compliment. I guess I'm kind of cool. However,
interesting.
I can't believe you didn't think I was cool. Why did you think I was going to be rude?
I've always thought you were
mean?
cool.
But I was really shocked and disheartened by that.
And I think we all are starved for attention these days. There's so much noise. There's so much social media. There's so many different options for what. It used to be 3 channels, right? Now it's like 3 million channels. We're all our own TV channel. So it is about sharing your authentic story and being deadly consistent. There are guys that run $30 million companies that have one social media platform, one offer, one product. There are people that have 55 offers that are dead broke, because people can't decide where to start, and I think the authenticity is huge. I think about another person as an example would be like Russell Brunson, the owner of ClickFunnels, CEO of ClickFunnels, wildly consistent, master marketer, deadly consistent, shares his story, shares his faith, and you build trust and you can buy into him. And if you meet him in person, he's going to be the same guy.
So fascinating.
I guess I just have to be way cooler on Instagram.
No pressure. This is so fascinating. So where do you think things are going? I mean, do you think anything like surprisingly is going to happen in the marketing branding world, or do you think it's pretty much, it's like a human like hero journey story, like we have to do the same thing over again? There's a total science to it, and it's not going to change anytime soon.
I don't think when you look at marketing, advertising, copywriting, if you look at the last 100 years, it hasn't changed very much because human beings haven't changed very much. The rest of the stuff, the media and the noise, is just that. It's noise. But at the end of the day, all human beings have the same core desires. We have the same feelings. There's 12 archetypes of people, so it's like we all fall into these same buckets.
Right.
And so marketing, advertising, branding is going to stay relatively the same because people don't change.
Okay, will you talk, because we have a little bit more time, will you talk real quickly about, like, I think it's the 7 or 9 good marketing, the points of like the proof. That I think is profound that you talked about with me.
And I think that's it. So many people don't display the proof of who they truly are, and so there's proof of results, there's client reviews.
So he's talking about on social media, if you have a brand and you do want to engage with your clients or actually sell something, this is kind of the science behind what has people purchase from somebody.
Yeah, there's a formula to it, to it all. It's really, proof of results is huge. That's when my brand started to take off. All I did was I made my posting strategy around showing the results of my clients. And when I come on a show like this, or when I'm in a publication, it's showing proof and that upward spiral of momentum. People want to be around high energy people that are successful, and the 9 different forms of proof. I learned a lot of this stuff from Mitch Miller, and as you put the formula to your own brand in your own life, stuff starts to work.
Right. So there's like proof of like that you're also emotional. You need to show like time with your friends and family. They want to see that you're emotionally connected.
Yeah, I have a posting strategy, and so it's not like clockwork. It's not like, oh, 9 a.m. I post this. It's fluid. But I kind of monitor the aliveness of my profile, and so it's like, am I doing too many arrogant posts? Like, look at me on Good Morning LA, whatever it is, right? And or do I bring in, look, I just had lunch with my grandma, those types of things. So there is a strategy and a philosophy to it.
I wouldn't consider the Good Morning LA post nearly as arrogant as Good Morning LALALAND.
Yeah,
I
knew I butchered that.
No, you didn't butcher it. You didn't butcher it. It was perfect. It was a perfect setup for me. So question, if we are willing to put a second mortgage on Jeslin's dream house and her Malibu house, can we hire you to do all of it? Because I feel like you are exceptional at it, and I think most of us kind of suck at it. Right? So is this something we can completely outsource to you, and you sort of took over people's accounts, or how do people work with you in a way that's comfortable for them and helpful?
Yeah, that's it. Like where my business wasn't working was when we were trying to do a logo here, a social media account here, a website here. When I felt like I wasn't having the transformational effect with our clients. Yeah. And so when we went to, we're going to do everything and we're going to get it all to sync up, that's really, it's a done for you service.
Wow.
It's let me figure out who your authentic self is. We'll figure out how to display it and clean up all these things. So like Erin, so much online activity, so much proof, but how do we kind of reconfigure things so that it makes sense to a new first person?
Oh, just love it. Yeah. Love the work you're doing. It's important.
Yeah.
It really is.
And it really, I talk about that is some of my clients are literally saving people's lives. Like, you have a huge mission with society, and the work that you're doing, you deserve to transform people's lives.
Thank you.
But if you don't get that first opportunity because they don't know where to start, it's like that's where the money's going out of.
Most people didn't even know. They're like, I didn't even know that you had this. They're like, you never shout. I never even asked for any sales. It's like
so
funny.
Weird how that works.
Yeah.
Like your deepest thing that you want to get out to the world, and other people come up to you and go, I didn't even know that was a thing. And you're like, you realize how big of a disconnect because we're all so close to our own problems.
So true.
Maybe you want to protect it.
Right.
Too.
Yeah, or
well,
something.
I appreciate you so much, and I want to give a shout out to your wife and to your family because I know you're a big family guy. So thank you so much. It's been an honor to work with you and just to keep it up.
Thank you.
Looking forward to our partnership for sure.
Yeah.
So tell everyone where they can find and follow you and work with you. Get their master makeover.
TheMakeoverMaster.com is my website, and they can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn at Mike Young Makeovers.
Thanks, Mike.
Awesome. You guys are awesome.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
world.
Hi.
We are behind the scenes here at the Focus TV network.
This is my first time ever going live.
Really?
I've never gone live.
Okay, good. So I'm glad. See, we're finally live.
Yeah.
This is good.
Thank you, Erica.
Yeah, girl.
For making it happen.
Also, follow at _Erica Delacour. Oh my God. I think I'm gonna cut it off.
Yeah.
No, hold on.
No, just put it in the middle.
Yeah! Dum 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 dum.
Are you asking what my nationality? Oh, I'm Mexican and Russian.
I'm Mexican and Spanish. A little Irish in there.
All the colors of the white rainbow.
Exactly. All the colors of the Blanco rainbow. That means white in Spanish.
Good job.
Hi, my name is Jessie Golden, and I am the creator of The Golden Secrets, a completely, no, hang on a second, sorry. Can we start over? And this is my secret to golden, no, sorry. Just retrain your brain for the positive. Yeah, it's like so hard. It's so hard. Oh my God, such the process. I got it. Yes, a golden secret. It's no longer a golden secret.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. It feels like Wind Up Wednesdays, not just Wealth Wednesday, because I feel turned up by these two experts. Fantastic series of conversations. Question of the day for each of you is, on Wealth Wednesday, talking a lot about how to create a wealthy and successful business, but also a wealthy and successful life. And so what would your number one tip be for folks that want to create a wealthy, successful business and life?
Want to go first?
Please.
Okay. I would say mindset. You have to start with the inner work. The inner work can feel ugly and hard because you're really going into like, why do I believe certain things? What do I want to create with my life? And so I would start with mindset and really figure out what your core driving force is and why you want to accomplish some of these things, and then get clear on what you want to accomplish.
So what's driving you?
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Core values.
Yeah.
For me, it's what's your passion? If you really love doing something and it's worthwhile and adding value to people, that's a great place to start in that particular area, to take a look at it. Investigate it. It doesn't mean you have to do it, but start out investigating something so that, and then it opens up more doors. You're out there speaking about it. You attract other people's suggestions and referrals from other people. And then put a deep why behind it. It's not just to do a transaction or make money. It's got to be deeper than that. It's got to be who you are.
I love both those answers because one of my favorite quotes, because I have to always drop with a quote, is that don't ask yourself what the world needs, but ask yourself what makes you come alive, because what the world most needs is people who are alive.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for being alive.
That's awesome.
And thank you for watching. We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And you can catch all these interviews available as a podcast on iTunes.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. Have a wonderful Wealth Wednesday. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and follow these amazing human beings.
It's going to be a good morning, La La Land.